When I was just approaching this house, I immediately noticed the windows of one apartment. They were the oldest of them all. There are no paint chips on the wooden windows. The windows are covered in dust, and there are cardboard boxes on the windowsills. I counted the floors, the fifth, and the apartment they were going to rent to me is also on the fifth floor. Is this really her? Yes, it turned out that way. Everything was bad there. The doors are made of plywood. The lock was barely holding up. A guy my age opened the door for me. He wasn't smiling. He looked tired. The eyes are red. Curly hair looked like a dry noodle cake. Any comb would get stuck and break in them. "Hi," he said, fiddling with the collar of his black hoodie. "Hi," I replied. "Wyosha." The guy held out his hand. His palm was sticky with sweat. "You're the landlord, aren't you?" "Yeah." The curly-haired guy nodded and stepped back from the threshold. "Well, come on in, look." I went into the hallway. The apartment seemed faded. The wallpaper has no color, and all surfaces are covered in dust. There are cloudy spots in the mirror instead of our reflections. "Yes, it's a bit dirty here. I'm sorry," said Lyosha, walking into the room. Every floorboard creaked under his feet. "It's okay," I replied, thinking that I could get out. It was cold. A draft blew through the cracks of the old windows. There was a folding sofa, a sideboard, a table in the room. "What kind of room?" the owner reminded. "And who's in the next one?" "No one," he replied. "So you're going to hook someone up later?" I came closer to see what was there. Lyosha casually blocked my way. "No, this room just can't be used. There are all sorts of things from one of my relatives. It's like a warehouse. You can't go in there, and you can't touch it either. Even I don't go in there, you know." These words sounded like the guy was composing on the fly. However, I didn't care about that. "No problem. Is the room closing?" I asked. "No, there's a problem with the door. See?" The guy tried the handle. The door wouldn't close until it stopped. There was a small gap through which one could see the surroundings. Wooden floors, a single linen closet, and stacks of cardboard boxes. Nothing else. In fact, some kind of warehouse. "Okay," I said. "Well, let it be slightly ajar," said Lyosha. "The main thing is not to enter there. Just imagine that she's not there. Everything suits me if the price is as advertised." I nodded. The amount was indeed symbolic, but it's understandable. The HUD is creepy. Yes. Everything is in force," the guy confirmed. I reached into the inside pocket of my jacket. Then, "Here's my passport. We are signing the contract." "Do you have to do this?" asked Lyosha, rubbing his eye. I wrinkled my forehead. "What do you mean? Let's not use our brains." "You're giving me money, rubbing your eye." I wrinkled my forehead. "In what sense? Let's not use our brains. You give me the money, I'll give you the keys, and live by yourself. You're kind of normal, man," he said. Okay. I thought it was even better that way. You don't have to answer for anything. The main thing is, don't touch the second room. The owner asked again. "There's nothing to do. Things aren't mine. I've already figured it out," I said. We agreed quickly. As soon as the money landed in his account, he put the keys in my hand and left, and then I took up rags, brushes, and all kinds of cleaning products. I can't say that I have any special mania for cleanliness, but I can't stand such filth. Oh, how many buckets of black water I poured into the toilet. How many cobwebs I took off. How much garbage I took out. He sat down to rest, and then picked up the brushes again. By evening, The apartment was unrecognizable. The furnishings are still the same old, but the cleanliness has transformed everything around, except for one room. There was still dust there. After all, I'm not allowed to use it. The contrast was impressive. It's bright and bright in my half, but everything is gray and black there. A closet, boxes, and a rope above the ceiling. I hadn't seen her before. A thick rope with a large knot at the end hung in the center of the ceiling instead of a chandelier. It's a strange thing, but I shouldn't care about that, right? It would be nice to adjust the door so that it closes completely and forget about the second room. I had a vague feeling that something was wrong with this place. What kind of warehouse is this? What do they keep in those dusty boxes? It's none of my business. An hour before midnight, I sat down to choose a movie, but soon realized that I didn't have enough for it. It turned out to be a grueling day, and transportation of things was planned for the next day. All that remained was to make up my bed, which I found, and go to bed. I turned out the light, lay down, and covered myself with a thin blanket, and then these sounds began, like someone swinging on a stretched rope. It was coming from an empty room. I cried out, waking up from a half-doze. Everything immediately quieted down, and then a thought came to me. Who am I telling now? Who did I ask not to creak? And who listened to me? I'm completely exhausted, I told myself, turning over so that I wouldn't see the door ajar. Why build up fear for nothing? In the morning, I moved my modest belongings into the apartment. I started early because I didn't want to be locked up. It was hard to admit to myself that I was uncomfortable in the apartment. All this is an open door, unable to stand it. I drove 2 nails over the jamb and pulled on an old curtain that I found in the cupboard. I just hung up the room so I wouldn't have to think about it. And then, having put everything in its place, I called Masha. This is my girlfriend. Was. We're probably not together anymore. But then, we were still in a relationship. We've only been walking for the last month and a half. I was staying with relatives and I had nowhere to invite her. And finally, a separate apartment. To be honest, I was looking for her so that I could invite Masha somewhere. Other reasons are so, by the way. She agreed to come to the housewarming party. It was a little late, but the reason was obvious. The girl came as if for a holiday. She was wearing a beautiful black dress, her hair was perfect, and she had lightly tinted her lips and eyelashes. I suddenly felt unworthy in my sweatpants. You're so beautiful, there are no words. And you're very clean for a man, the girl said, looking around. I scratching my head in embarrassment. No, really, it's very nice and cozy here. Thank you. I tried my best for your arrival. What's in there? The girl walked across the room and took hold of the curtain behind which the door was hiding. I waved my hands. Oh, no, don't go there. The owner forbade it. Got it. Calm down, Masha said. It's like you've hidden a corpse there, and you don't want me to see it. She smiled, but a little nervously. There's all sorts of junk lying around. They asked me not to touch it. I explained, even though Masha didn't care anymore. The girl easily switched from one topic to another. What are we going to do? She asked. Do you want to see something? Yes, come on, there's a new one. This one came out in the season. About technology, TV series. I tried to remember. Shall we drink some wine? Masha smiled. Yes, I'll arrange everything now. I promised. The girl sat down on the sofa and crossed her legs. Vadik, I'm staying with you all night. We haven't seen each other for a month and a half. Great, I said. We had a wonderful evening. Wine, snacks, TV series, and other adult activities. By 1 o'clock in the morning, Masha was already snoring, with her back to the wall. I couldn't sleep. I lay there looking at the ceiling, and was just happy. My beloved girl is finally here. What if you ask her to move in together, will she agree? Vanek, what's creaking in there? Masha suddenly asked in her sleep. I immediately got distracted from my thoughts and listened. She was right. Those sounds from the next room again. My heart stopped beating. I don't know, I said. You mean you don't know? The girl muttered sleepily. I'll take a look, I replied, realizing what she was getting at. I had to get out from under the covers. The frightened heart was calmed by the simple realization that it was simple. The draft is probably swinging the rope from the ceiling, so it creaks. With that thought in mind, I pulled the curtain. He pushed the door open and almost screamed in horror. The room was not empty. There was a man there, if you can call it that. An awkward scarecrow from a nightmare. He was hanging upside down with big, long arms instead of legs. He used them to hold on to a knot of rope, clung to it with his feet, and swung left and right like a pendulum. And in the places where the arms should be, rounded shoulder joints stuck out. The man was wearing light hospital pajamas. Because of this, he gave the impression of being crazy, hanging upside down, dangling to the sides. And his face was completely stupid, bald, ears protruding, eyes looking in different directions, and without a tooth. His mouth is crooked. I squeezed my eyes shut, shook my head, hoping that the vision would disappear, but the crazy creature with arms instead of legs continued to sway to the sides. I wanted to scream, and how else to react to sudden terror? But my throat was tight, and I couldn't make a sound. Will it end or not? Masha muttered behind my back, and suddenly the strange bald creature stopped swaying. Now it's frozen in the center. He pursed his lips slightly and spoke softly. I grabbed the handle and pulled the door as hard as I could, and he closed the curtain. I was shaking as if from the cold. I went back to bed, lay down next to Masha, and covered myself with a blanket. For some reason, it seemed rational to just pretend that nothing had happened. I didn't want to scare the girl. I didn't want to tell her about the terrible vision. Obviously, Masha gets up, goes to check, and there's no one there. She would quite rightly think that her boyfriend was crazy. What was there? Masha asked. Nothing. I barely answered. She drawled sleepily. Actually, I was going to stay up all night, watch the door to the room, listen for sounds, but accidentally fell asleep. I don't know how. I woke up in the morning. It was light. I'm alone in bed. The girl has disappeared. Masha, where are you? I screamed in horror, and she appeared immediately. She peeked out of the hallway with a toothbrush and toothpaste around her mouth. Here? Why are you shouting? Did you have a nightmare? What is it? She asked. Yeah, I replied, holding my heart. God forbid what happened to her. The girl returned to the bathroom, rinsed her mouth, and reappeared in the room. What are we going to do today? She asked. Actually, I have to go somewhere, I said, although in fact I just wanted to get the girl out as soon as possible and leave myself, as if there was some kind of danger hanging over us. There was a bad energy in the air, but Masha didn't notice it. Where? She asked in response to bad energy, but Masha didn't notice it. Where to? What is it? She asked. In construction. I wrote as I walked. I want to buy tools and fix this door so that it closes properly. I'm with you, the girl said. It was unnecessary. In fact, I wanted to get in touch with the landlord as soon as possible and demand an explanation. I couldn't believe it was just glitches. Why do you need it with you? I asked Masha. I can do it alone. And then the girl got a little angry. You're kind of muddy. Got another woman. You're working on two fronts. Maybe what are you doing? She came over and held out her hand. Let me see the phone. Right now. Well, take it on the table, I said, embarrassed. There's nothing to be afraid of. Masha was the only one I had. The girl took the phone, asked to unlock it, and began to carefully review the correspondence. I shouldn't have lied. Masha easily sensed the lie. I was just thinking in the wrong direction, so I decided to give it away as it is. Okay? I'll tell you honestly, I don't like this apartment. Something strange happens here at night. I thought I saw someone in that room last night. I was kind of worried about you. Seriously? Let's go take a look. The girl put down her phone. I got off the couch. We went to the curtain. Masha pulled it down and pushed the door open. Empty? The fairy tale. Empty. Phew. It's empty. Gray dust, no traces on it. Boxes, a closet, and a rope under the ceiling. Is this a gallows or something? Masha asked. It doesn't look like it, I replied. What kind of gallows? Although maybe it was once. The loop broke, and only the knot remained. Is there someone hiding in the closet? The girl asked. She was either teasing me, or she was worried about me. I won't check, I said. The closet was the only place where that scary man could hide. Why are you so skittish? Masha asked, crossing the threshold. Stop. I tried to catch her by the arm, but I didn't make it. The girl walked across the room and opened the door of an old closet. There's no one here, she said. Yes, I saw it myself. It was empty inside. Where else could this idiot hide? I could only wonder if he was a ghost, or if he wasn't there at all, the girl said, glancing into one of the boxes of mash. Come out of there, please, I said. Can we go eat pizza? She suggested yes. Let's go, I agreed. I had no appetite. I just wanted to get out of this damn apartment as soon as possible. I decided this morning that I wasn't going to live there. I love horror movies. But I hate it when the characters are dumb. I didn't want to be like that character who gets yelled at on the screen. Get out of there. And he throws himself at any excuse to stay in a dangerous place. I just had to leave. Therefore, after seeing Masha off, I immediately started calling the landlord of the apartment. I just wanted to demand the money back. Don't even ask questions, I need it. But the owner didn't pick up the phone. I've already called him 5 times. He doesn't care. Well, that's fine. Lock the apartment and leave. Give away the keys only in exchange for money. And in full. He cleaned up there for free. And then I got an answer on the 8th call. Hello. The voice was somehow unfamiliar. I clarified it. Leosha? No, it's not Leosha, they told me. What's the matter with him? About the apartment, I replied. There's a problem. The stranger sighed loudly and said, Well, I don't know how to help you. Leosha died, and I'm his brother. Is he dead? How did he die? We saw each other the day before yesterday. I just couldn't believe it. Yes, it just happened yesterday, the guy said sadly. I'm still in shock myself. He just died in his sleep. It happens that way. I'm sorry for you, I said, clutching the keys. What should I do with the apartment now? The brother of the deceased took care of it. Excuse me, but which apartment are we talking about? I had to explain. I rented an apartment from him the other day. I'm calling because I want to move out. Wait, aren't you mistaken? My interlocutor asked in surprise. Where did Leka get the apartment from? He used to rent himself. I started to think that I was being bullied. How is that? The day before yesterday, he gave me the keys to the apartment on Gorky Street. The person on the other end of the line was as surprised as I was. It doesn't make sense. He rented this apartment himself a couple of months ago. What is this strange story? I don't know, I said, even though I was already beginning to guess. This Lyosha didn't rent his apartment to me. He just wanted to get out of it by charging me some money. "Excuse me, can we discuss this later?" the relative of the deceased asked. "Now is not the time." "I understand," I said. "Just answer my last question. Has Leosha moved out of his apartment on Burke Street long ago?" "Well, the day before yesterday," the guy answered. "He asked to stay with me for a week. I arrived, went to bed, and did not wake up. I'm just in shock. This situation is driving me crazy. And then you don't understand anything with this story about the apartment." "Okay, I'm sorry," I said, and hung up. And here's a reason to stay, which is easy to throw up. The false landlord cheated me out of money, threw me out of the apartment, and died the same night. Won't the same thing happen to me? I returned to the apartment, sat down on the sofa, and froze. Masha wrote to me, asking how things were going. Should I tell her that? It was dark outside, and I didn't turn out the light. Night. The first creak made me shudder all over. Again. This pendulum man came out of nowhere to swing. The sound hits right on the brain, and he didn't do anything except drive me crazy. That's why Leosha had red eyes. He probably didn't do anything either, except drive me crazy. That's why Leosha had red eyes. He probably didn't sleep at night either. At what point did he get the idea to give the keys to someone? And the apartment wasn't even his. Probably someone did the same to him. Keys are passed around like a curse. The night passed. I don't remember if I was asleep or not. I ate something in the afternoon. I went and took out the trash. Masha wrote again, asking when and if it would be possible to visit again. After reading the message, I laughed. Not because it's funny. It was just a nervous laugh coming out of his throat. I didn't know what to do. How does the curse of a bad apartment work? Can't you sleep somewhere else? Or is it impossible to leave her for a long time? What the hell should I do? And it's night again. And that creaking sound again. I was sitting there, looking at the door behind the curtain. There's a voice from there. "Come in." Why? Did I hear that? Again. "Come in." Oh my God. He was calling me there in the dark. What does he want? "Come in." That booming bass made me shudder. I got up from the couch, not breathing, went to the curtain, and pulled it aside. The fucking pendulum man was swinging in the half-open door. His figure alternated between turning black and being illuminated by the pale light of the moon. I went in. His jaw was shaking so much that his teeth were chattering. Alexei Stushev. Poyatnitsky Passage. To the right of the gate, the creepy man spoke, swaying from side to side. "Let me go, please. I don't want to live here," I begged. Alexei Stushev. Friday Passage. To the right of the gate, the creature repeated, as if he hypnotized me, made me memorize every word and mindlessly follow the instructions I understood. I said and left the room. At some point I had a phone in my hand. The taxi application was open. The car was supposed to arrive in a couple of minutes. Did I cause this? I do not remember. I don't remember how I dressed. I remember walking down the steps and getting into the car in the back seat. We went to the address, Poyatnitsky Passage. I had no idea what was in there. The driver was silent all the way, and only when we arrived at our destination, he couldn't resist and asked, "Excuse me, but why are you here?" I didn't answer because I didn't know myself. I just got out of the car into the thick darkness. He crashed his chest into the ajar gate, squeezed through it, and went to the right. It was a cemetery. Crosses and fences glittered in the faint moonlight. I walked and walked until I was on the edge. There was one fresh grave. The sign hadn't been put up yet, but there was a framed portrait photo. The same lech with the curly mop. Without a single thought in my head, I took the portrait and went somewhere without looking. My feet carried me back to the house by themselves. His mind worked in fits and starts, as if in a drunken delirium. So I went up to the apartment and turned on the light. He walked down the corridor, breathing graveyard earth. The rope creaked in the dark room, nervous and fast. The pendulum man seemed to be burning with impatience. I walked through the door, holding the portrait in my hands. Stolen from a cemetery. Maybe now, by fulfilling my request, you can ask for something. All I wanted to do was leave. Forget this apartment. I wanted to say it, but I couldn't. My tongue felt numb. Put it in the box. A creepy man told me to. I want to remember him. He was hanging upside down. His powerful arms and legs were gripping the knot tightly. Panting with fear, I went to the stack of boxes and put the portrait in the top one. There were other photos too. Framed portraits with black ribbons. And also oval, ceramic, with rounded edges. Men, women, young boys, and girls. They are all former apartment owners. They all participated in this deadly relay race. I left the room without closing the door behind me. The creature forced me to steal a photo from a cemetery. He bent me to his will, and I thought that I would never have acted so stupidly, trying to transfer the apartment to someone else. But if that devil on the rope tells me to do it, I won't be able to resist. 2 more nights passed. There is a creaking sound in the next room. It's strange to think what he'll make me do next. Masha wrote yesterday, asking where he had disappeared to, and told her to go far and for a long time. She's a proud girl. It was enough for her to put me on the blacklist. That's what I wanted. I love her too much already to put her in danger. And I'm probably finished. Everything seems to be known in advance. Sooner or later, I'll have to give the keys to the new tenant. And then, a few nights later, my portrait will be in the box. Using the remnants of free will and common sense, I will describe this post. What if all is not lost yet? What should I do? Should I rip the rope off the ceiling or burn everything down here? I don't want to end up like the others.